Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're getting into some of the most heavy-duty theological debates in Islam. Does God have a hand? Was the Prophet Muhammad a man or a light? Strap in, because we're diving into the 5 most explosive debates in Islam that scholars still can't agree on. Islam is a faith of deep intellectual tradition, which means it has deep debates. Here are 5 questions that have divided scholars for centuries. A literalist and a metaphoricalist are 2 different readers who have a disagreement about how to interpret the words. The literalist believes you should take the words at their face value, according to their most basic, common, or dictionary definition. The metaphoricalist believes that the words are a symbol for a deeper, more abstract idea. Simple, everyday example. My brother is a night owl. Literalist interpretation. The literalist would be confused or think this is nonsense. They would picture their brother physically transforming into an owl every night. This is because they take the words, "is a night owl," at their face value. Metaphorical interpretation. The metaphoricalist understands this immediately. They know night owl is not a literal description of species, but a metaphor. It symbolizes the idea that their brother stays up very late and is most active at night. Now, let's apply this to the controversial question about God's attributes in the script. Quranic verse. And both his hands are extended wide. The literalist, Athari view, takes the word hand at its face value. They believe God does have a hand because the Quran says so. However, they immediately add, without asking how. This means they affirm the attribute but deny that it is like a human hand. They believe it is a hand in a manner that is perfect and befits God's majesty, and its true nature is beyond human comprehension. It's like reading the word hand, but acknowledging it belongs to a being so different from us that we cannot imagine its form. The metaphoricalist, Ash'ari view, believes the word hand is a metaphor for a deeper, abstract attribute of God. They argue that attributing a physical body part to God contradicts the core Islamic principle that there is nothing like unto him. Quran 42:11. Therefore, hand cannot mean a physical limb. They interpret hand as a metaphor for God's power, strength, blessing, or generosity. It's like reading, "My brother is a night owl," and correctly understanding it refers to his habits, not his biology. Question 2. If God decrees everything, do we have free will? This is not merely a theological puzzle. It is a profound paradox that strikes at the very core of divine justice and human responsibility. The controversy arises from a direct collision between 2 equally powerful Islamic truths. On one hand, the Quran is explicit about divine decree, or al-Qadar. Verses state that no leaf falls, no soul dies, and no disaster strikes except by the will and prior knowledge of God. This presents a universe where everything is, in a sense, pre-written. On the other hand, the Quran is also saturated with calls for human accountability. It is filled with commands, prohibitions, and the stark reality of heaven and hell. The fundamental question of, why would a just God punish me for a sin he himself decreed, becomes unavoidable. This is the philosophical heart of the controversy. It challenges our innate sense of justice and seems to make God the author of sin. a conclusion Islam vehemently rejects. So, how does Orthodox Islam resolve this? It does not choose one side over the other. Instead, it holds both truths in a delicate, mysterious balance. The solution is known as the doctrine of kasb, or acquisition. Think of it this way. God creates the act, but the human being acquires it. They choose it, intend it, and take ownership of it. Your choice is real, and you will be judged for it. Yet your choice itself exists within the boundless knowledge and will of the Creator. In the end, the human mind cannot fully unravel how divine omnipotence and human free will coexist. Islamic theology therefore concludes that we must affirm both, accepting that the ultimate how is a mystery known only to God. It is a paradox that calls not for a logical solution, but for humble acceptance of the limits of human understanding in the face of the divine. So, after exploring all these perspectives, what's my personal take on this? I find myself aligning with the view that sees this not as a contradiction, but as two levels of reality operating in harmony. I believe in the grand script and the live performance. Imagine a master author who writes a novel. He knows the entire plot from beginning to end. He knows every choice his characters will make. The script is complete. This is God's foreknowledge, the grand script. But now, the actors step onto the stage. From their perspective, every decision is real. Every choice is theirs to make. The drama, the consequences, the moral weight, it's all authentic. This is our lived experience, the live performance. The author's knowledge doesn't force the characters to act. His writing doesn't strip them of their will within the story. In the same way, I believe God's timeless knowledge doesn't invalidate our genuine free will within time. This is why we are judged. The author, knowing the entire story, can still justly reward the hero and hold the villain accountable based on the choices they authentically made. For me, this resolves the tension. It allows me to fully believe in divine decree without falling into paralysis, and to take full responsibility for my actions without denying God's ultimate sovereignty. It encourages me to live purposefully, to make sincere supplication, dua, and to trust that my choices are meaningful within a grand, pre-known design. Question 3. Was the Prophet Muhammad a man or a pre-existent light? This controversy strikes at the very identity of the final messenger and forces a fundamental question. What is the perfect vessel for divine revelation? The orthodox theological view is rooted in protecting Tawheed, the absolute oneness of God. Its proponents point to the Quran's unequivocal verse, "Say, I am only a man like you." For them, this is the bedrock. To elevate the prophet beyond a human being to a pre-existent cosmic entity risks blurring the line between the Creator and the created. His humanity is essential. It makes him relatable, his life imitable, and it ensures that all worship is directed solely to God. He is the perfect human example. The Sufi and metaphysical view, however, seeks to explain his unique capacity for revelation. How could a mere human contain the full weight of God's final message? Their answer is the concept of Nur Muhammadiyah, the Mohammedan light. This is not a physical body, but a primordial spiritual reality. It is the first creation of God, the master blueprint through which the light of existence itself flowed into the universe. In this view, his physical birth was the culmination of this eternal light entering the world in human form. And so, the controversy is set. Is he the ultimate human, chosen among us? Or is he the cosmic reason for creation itself, the first and perfect emanation of divine light, who then appeared as a man? This is not a trivial debate. It's a clash between two profound understandings. One that safeguards God's transcendence through the prophet's humanity, and another that explains his transcendent role through a pre-existent, luminous essence. Question 4. What is the punishment for leaving Islam? This is perhaps the most volatile debate in the modern Islamic world, pitting centuries of legal tradition against foundational principles of faith. The controversy represents a fundamental collision between two essential Islamic values: the stability of the community and the sanctity of individual conscience. The traditional law position, upheld by classical scholars, is rooted in a specific historical context. In the early Muslim community, faith and state were inextricably linked. Apostasy was not seen as a private change of heart, but as an act of high treason, a renunciation of allegiance that fractured the social and political body. The hadith prescribing the death penalty was understood as a protective legal ruling for a vulnerable community under constant threat. For traditionalists, to abandon this ruling is to disregard a clear prophetic precedent and the wisdom of the scholarly consensus that preserved the faith for over a millennium. The modernist view, however, argues that the original context is fundamentally changed. They turn to the Quran's most direct pronouncement on belief: there shall be no compulsion in religion. For them, this is a universal and eternal principle. They contend that faith, by its very nature, must be a free and conscious choice to have any spiritual value. To compel belief or punish its abandonment, they argue, is a violation of this core Quranic ethic and makes a mockery of the Day of Judgment, where individuals alone will bear responsibility for their personal faith. Thus, the heart of the controversy is this: is the ruling on apostasy a specific historical law for governing a classical Islamic state, or is it an immutable divine punishment for all times? The answer to this question forces a choice between the unambiguous letter of the Hadith and the profound spirit of the Quran, leaving modern Muslims in a deep and painful struggle to reconcile their faith with contemporary conceptions of human dignity and liberty. Question 5. Did God cancel some Quranic verses? The very idea that parts of the eternal, uncreated Word of God could be nullified by other parts is a controversy that challenges our understanding of divine wisdom and the coherence of revelation itself. This concept, known as naskh or abrogation, is not a minor technicality. It is a major philosophical battlefield. How can a perfect and timeless message contain internal changes? Does this imply God changed his mind, or that the revelation was imperfect at an earlier stage? The classical view defends naskh as a necessary and wise process. They see the Quran not as a static book dropped from the sky, but as a dynamic guidance revealed over 23 years to a growing community. In this view, abrogation is a divine pedagogy. God gradually legislated, moving society from what was familiar to what was ideal. The gradual prohibition of alcohol is the prime example, a compassionate, step-by-step reform. For classical scholars, Naskh is a proof of God's mercy, adapting the law to the evolving capacity of the early Muslims. The verse, "We do not abrogate a verse except that we bring one better than it," is their foundation. The modern skeptical view, however, sounds an alarm. They see the extensive application of Naskh as a dangerous tool that can be used to sideline some of the Quran's most universal messages, like peace and freedom of conscience, in favor of more specific situational commands. They argue that the classical scholars often resorted to Naskh to solve apparent contradictions, when a more nuanced reading of context would have sufficed. For them, the solution is not cancellation, but context. They advocate for a holistic reading where the Quran is seen as a unified whole, with general principles governing specific rulings and historical circumstances explaining shifts in language. The ultimate controversy, then, is this: is the Quran a historical document whose legislation unfolded in time, requiring the tool of Naskh to be understood? Or is it a seamless, timeless text where every verse has its rightful place and apparent conflicts are resolved not by erasure, but by deeper contemplation? This debate determines whether we see God's Word as a sequential revelation of His will or as a perfect, integrated system where nothing is truly superseded, only properly situated. So, what do you think? Does one of these debates resonate with you more than the others? The conversation is just beginning, so share your thoughtful perspectives in the comments below. Until next time, seek knowledge with an open heart. Peace be upon you.